Hello, everybody. It's April 3rd, 2025. Ride recap on my ride across America. Today was a tough one. Really tough. As much as the wind helped me yesterday, it kicked my ass today. Looking at the different routes I could take, from where I was, I could probably go like straight north, which I really don't want to go any further north right now. Or the route that I ended up taking was to the west, but that road didn't run just straight west. It was slightly southwest, and the wind was howling out of the south. Not as bad as yesterday. Yesterday was like the wind was in the 30s, which was insane. But today it was much better. It was only in the 20s. 20-mile-an-hour winds. And I haven't ridden much elevation lately. Today I climbed 1,370 feet of elevation, long rolling hills, which would have been not that big of a deal. 1,300 feet I usually can do fairly easily. But when I'm fighting a headwind all day long, it wasn't like a straight headwind. It was more of like a combination headwind, crosswind, but it was slowing me down. And it was so strong that a few gusts actually blew me off the pavement into the grass. And I had to get off the bike and push it back up onto the pavement. And then a couple times gusts would just come along and just stop me dead in my tracks. If I'm trying to climb a hill and the wind gusted, and I just stopped. And a couple times today, I actually did some hike-a-bike. I was just exhausted and had to push my bike against the wind up a hill because I couldn't pedal. My legs were shaking. Yeah, a day like today, there's no break all day long. No coasting. Even going downhill, the wind was so strong, I couldn't coast downhill. So, on a day like today, where it is a struggle all day long just to keep the bike moving forward, it seems like it doesn't matter how much I eat. I just burn everything, and I'm exhausted, and I'm starving, and I drank so much water and Powerade and Gatorade today, and I was still dehydrated. I actually had to stop and sit in the shade for a little bit today because I was going up a hill and I don't know what happened, but just boom, dizzy spell. Started to see spots. And luckily I noticed it right away, or recognized it right away, and just stopped and got off the bike, sat in the grass, regained my composure, and then pushed the bike further off the road where there was some shade. And I called a friend and said, hey, make sure you keep a close eye on me on your tracking apps for the next couple of hours, because I don't know what that dizzy spell was all about, but it had me nervous. So I continued on. I really had no choice. Like, I was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I guess I could have just thrown my tent on the side of the road, but I don't think I would have gotten away with that. Seems like every route that I take, any land next to the road, it's just private, no trespassing, posted, keep off. So I continued on. Luckily, I'd say about 4 or 5 miles past where I had the dizzy spell, there was a Dollar General and a little gas station. And I stopped at the gas station and bought 2 big Gatorades, a liter of water, and some more peanut butter crackers. And I just sat there at that gas station for like a half an hour, drinking as much as I could, eating as much as I could. I don't know how to explain this, but Like, I need to eat more calories, but I'm eating so much that I'm full. I get nauseous. I'm trying to drink so much water and eat so much food. It's really hard for me, I guess. I haven't figured this out yet about, like, the right things to eat. A big part of that is, like, on this trip, I planned on really stocking up with food every time I passed a grocery store. What I didn't realize planning this trip and starting this trip, so many of these little southern towns don't have a grocery store. This little town that I'm staying in tonight, Leesville, Louisiana. As I was approaching the town, I just Googled, like, groceries near me, or whatever. And a business popped up that was called ShopRite. I grew up in South Jersey. We had a grocery store called ShopRite. I haven't seen one in decades, but I was like, oh, cool, I got a ShopRite. I'll stop and get some cheap food and take it to the motel. Well, this ShopRite was a gas station. Wasn't much for groceries. But I did buy some snacks, some more water. And after I drank some more, ate some more, I started to feel a little bit better, but I was still feeling really weak. Just pushed myself way too hard today. But I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of options. Where I stayed at, in the direction I'm going, like, this was the first town, really. There was nothing in between. There's not much here in this little town either, but now that I'm checked into the motel, I walked next door and had a really good dinner at the little diner, I don't know if you call it a diner, it's called Kim's Country Kitchen. Like an old fast food building that went out of business and they turned it into a little local dining area, spot, whatever you want to call it. And food was good. Service was good. Had a nice chicken filet grilled and some green beans and mashed taters. I'm feeling much better now. Freshly showered, sitting in probably the dingiest motel room I've stayed at so far on this trip. Definitely sleeping in my sleeping bag on top of the covers in this joint. The door locks, and there's air conditioning, and the shower was decent, really hot water, so it is what it is. Cheap motel. Tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen. See how I feel when I wake up in the morning. There's a slight chance of rain all day tomorrow, but then Saturday there's a much better chance of thunderstorms all day. So as long as I feel decent in the morning, I think I'm going to get up, wrap everything in plastic, and ride to the west. Because I'm only 21 miles from the Texas border. So whether I leave here tomorrow or if I hang out here all weekend to wait for the weather to pass through, the next time I get on the bike, I should cross the state line into Texas. So that's going to be a big one. I can only imagine how long it's going to take me to get through Texas. Hopefully, Texas climate is a little drier. I am so fed up with these storms every 3 to 4 days. I was thinking today when I was riding, I think since I started this trip, I haven't had a single stretch where I could ride more than 3 days without having to stop and wait for weather. I mean, it's good. I get rest break every 3 days. So today was my third straight day of riding. Over the last 3 days, I've done 160 miles. So that's not bad. But I'd like to, get a good 4 or 5 day stretch. Start speeding this trip up a little bit. Not that I'm in a hurry. I don't have any time deadline. But I think I want to pick up the pace and just get moving. But anyways, as usual, I am just rambling. Yeah, so hard day today, but I did it. Tomorrow, if you don't see any posts from me, that means the weather sucked. Or I just didn't feel good. Anyways, that's all for now. As always, the ride across America continues.